first, fair, accurate. From our newsrooms in Eugene, Roseburg, and Coos Bay, KVAL News starts now.
Coming up on KVAL News this morning, high heat leads to explosive wildfire growth. Details on the major fires that are only expected to get bigger with extreme conditions.
Plus, all the smoke from those fires is settling in the valleys, and that could be trouble for people with health issues. We'll have the latest on air quality in our area and those who could be at risk from the air particles.
And a deadly explosion levels part of a school with kids right outside. The latest on the investigation into the blast and more coming up. Good morning. It's Thursday, August 3rd, 2017. It's now the top of the hour. I'm Kristen Goodwillie.
And I'm Cameron Walker. Thank you for joining us. Our top story this morning, firefighters say a cigarette being tossed into a flower pot was responsible for a duplex fire that happened early this morning.
Now, the call records show fire crews responding around 3 this morning to the 2000 block of Lake Wind Drive in Eugene. Eugene Springfield Fire tells us smoke detectors woke up the residents and allowed them to get to safety. Firefighters say cement tiles on the roof made it tough to access the fire. Fire officials say with current hot weather, it's even more important to be careful when discarding cigarettes.
And fire crews were able to keep a brush fire contained to just 1 acre near Mount Pisgah off CV Loop Road. Officials tell us someone called in the blaze from Clearwater Park in Springfield around 4 yesterday morning. Those flames were near the bank of the Willamette River. The cause of the fire is still under investigation.
We talked with Oregon Senator Jeff Merkley about federal funding for fighting wildfires. Merkley says the Appropriations Committee has budgeted money to cover the 10-year average for fires, plus several $100 billion as a buffer.
If you take the top 2% of forest fires in the country and fund them through a FEMA-type organization, Federal Emergency Management Agency, and treat them the way you treat a hurricane or an earthquake or a flood, that would make the fire budget sufficient under the current construction. We wouldn't end up in fire borrowing. That would be a vast improvement.
He says in the past they've had to borrow from the National Forest Service to pay for firefighting. Merkley says they shut down the other activities of the Forest Service to pay for fighting wildfires.
And you're probably going to see a bit of a haze in the air today. Now, all that is coming from wildfires burning all over the state as well as up in Canada. The Lane Regional Air Protection Agency says that smoke poses a health risk. Now, right now, El Rapa's gauges show the air in the Eugene-Springfield area and Cottage Grove as unhealthy. Oak Ridge rates a moderate at the moment. The children, the elderly, pregnant women, and those with allergies are the most sensitive to pollutants like smoke.
Really tiny little particulates from smoke that are easily inhaled and can be lodged into your bloodstream and into your lungs and very difficult to expel, and it can cause a whole wide range of respiratory issues.
El Rapa says they're also watching out for elevated levels of ground level ozone pollution caused by the extreme heat. If you're having any trouble breathing, El Rapa encourages you to stay inside and give your doctor a call. They say the smoke could linger into the weekend, and they do post hourly air quality updates. We have that information on our website. Now, these triple-digit temperatures are dangerous for both humans and our pets. Springfield police say they've gotten a number of calls about pets left in hot cars.
Now, Animal Control Officer Brian Austin tells us that yesterday was the busiest he's seen in his 6 years working on the force. He said he received 12 calls of dogs left in cars and wrote several criminal citations. Luckily, all of those animals are now safe, but Austin has advice for pet owners who are thinking about leaving their forever friends in the car.
Leave them home. A 1,000-square-foot house or even a 500-square-foot apartment has much more air rolling through it, even if you don't have air conditioning, than a 60 to 100-square-foot area inside of a vehicle. So we're able to get it.
When officers arrive to a call, they'll check the temperature inside the car and use an infrared skin monitor to determine an animal's temperature. Earlier this year, Governor Brown signed a bill allowing Good Samaritans to break into a car if they believe there is reasonable danger to a human or pet. Officer Austin advises anyone who sees a distressed animal to call police. An animal can die because of heat issues in as little as 40 minutes.
Well, in national news, President Trump travels to West Virginia today for yet another campaign-style rally. Now, this event comes amid growing interest on Capitol Hill into Donald Trump Jr.'s controversial meeting with a Russian lawyer during the campaign. CBS News has learned that congressional investigators want to take a look at phone and email records of everyone involved in that meeting, including Jared Kushner and Paul Manafort.
The White House is once again taking aim at immigration reform. President Trump is throwing his support behind the bill to introduce a merit-based system for green card applications. It favors skilled applicants who can also speak English. The RAISE Act would also cut the number of refugees admitted each year from 110,000 to just 50,000. It also calls for major cuts to family-based immigration rules. Right now, whether the bill has enough support to become law is unclear.
Well, it's time now for our question of the day. Now, yesterday we asked, a new poll found when temperatures get really hot outside, people are twice as likely to do this at night. The answer to that turned out to be order takeout.
And today's question is, a review shows this seated activity can raise your breathing rate by 40%. If you think you know the answer, email us at mornings@kval.com, or you can guess on Facebook and Twitter, #LiveOnKval. We'll share some of your guesses throughout the morning and have the answer before CBS This Morning.
I'm not a cardiologist. What does your breathing rate being raised by 40% actually, I mean, is that like running a marathon, or is that?
You're asking the wrong person.
You're not a cardiologist either.
I'm not. No, I'm not.
Okay. I'm going to guess driving is kind of my first. You know, you're more concentrated.
Well, like if you're driving fast, maybe.
If you're driving.
Your heartbeat gets.
You're going harder.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe
if a cop is going to pull you over, maybe.
Typing on a computer, because 40% doesn't sound that high to me.
Right. I mean, I don't know. Sitting down and doing something.
Yeah. I mean, I could be, you know, you're lifting weights, but.
Yeah, I was going to say if you're working out and you're sitting down and lifting weights, but that seems too obvious.
A little bit too obvious. So have a seat and send us those guesses. It's 30 past the hour now, and coming up, with the temperatures going up, even football camps need some time to cool off. That and more is coming up next in KVL Sports.